If you are
Yeah.
planning to move to the UK, you should do your own research. What's it like living in the UK? What are the experiences of people living in the UK? You know, what are the things you should know about living in Canada, in the US, in Australia? People seem not to be doing enough research. People seem not to be looking for information before, you know, leaving or before even making that big decision. I think it's a great decision. Okay, you know what? Let's look at it this way. The first one, information. People
Yeah.
have problems due to lack of information. Ignorance, they say, is not an excuse, is it?
It's
It's
not.
not. It's not. So if you're thinking of going abroad, you need to make your inquiries. You need to have the right information, you know, about that country. What is it like living there? What are the things you should know? What are the people like? You know, what is the cost of living? What is the weather like? What kind of jobs can I easily get on? You know, do your own research. So a lot of people don't do that. Secondly, bills. I want us to talk about bills.
Okay.
First, what are those bills, you know? Let's even itemize them. What are those what are those bills that people have to pay? In this case, it's not even, you know, these are bills that you must pay. If you need to enjoy those services, if you need to enjoy those facilities, you don't have an option. You must pay it. I know in some countries you can dodge, you can escape, you can manipulate, you can, you know, wriggle your way out of some bills. But in advanced countries, you can't. You
Yeah.
can't. The bills keep coming. The bills don't stop coming. Every month. Some bills are even weekly, some are um,
Monthly
monthly, some are,
or
you know,
quarterly.
or quarterly. But the bills keep coming. So let's even look at those bills. Yes, so we've got the electricity, we've got the gas, we've got the rent, we've got TV
Telephone
license,
bills.
telephone bills,
Yeah.
council tax,
Yeah. Bus
vehicle,
fares.
bus pass, we've got the vehicle insurance, we've got the internet connectivity, water bills,
Parking. Parking bills. In case
parking.
if in case if you own a car.
Oh my God, have we not listed up to 10 here or more than? You can
We
imagine
have.
this kind of bills. Let's even start with the rent.
Yeah.
You know, back home, or let me say, well, let me just use Nigeria as an example. Most rents are paid annually.
Yeah.
You just pay your rent and then you don't have to think about it until the following year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a landlord, hmm, then awesome. You don't have to worry about that. But here in the UK, most bills are monthly.
Yeah.
So imagine paying the same amount or even slightly higher every month here. What do you think about the rent here?
It depends on the city though, because each cities have different price ranges. So for example, we're in Hull. Hull is quite affordable compared to those living in London. London is more expensive. So
It
these are
is.
the things we need to put into consideration when one needs to migrate and come to UK or something like that. At least have a means of survival. Like, how will you cope in case if you don't see a job immediately?
Mm,
Will you be
thank you.
thrown out of the street, or will you be squatting in a friend's place, or how will you go about it? These are the things
Or
we
will you
have
be
to
in a
think
hotel
about.
for like a month or two before you get
Yeah,
on a job? You see,
yeah.
that's another thing I think people don't think about. You're
Mm-hmm.
coming, you're um relocating abroad, and you think everything is rocket science. It's
Yeah,
not magic. It doesn't happen like that. It
true.
doesn't. It doesn't. You're moving abroad. You might not, you might not get a job
Immediately.
immediately. So you need to have plans of, survival plans, at least for the first 2 months,
Yeah.
while you find your feet and find your way around and try to get on a job. But
Mm-hmm.
I've seen quite a number of people just come, without plans, without anything. It's more like, once I just get to the airport and I arrive, boom,
Boom,
everything would,
everything start
boom,
working. But it's not
everything
like
stuff.
that.
It's not like that. It's not like that. It's not like that. Last week I was still, talking to someone, and he hasn't even been able to get his accommodation yet sorted. He's just
Wow.
a week old, in the UK, and he had to stay in a hotel, and he's already complaining that he's broke.
Oh my
And I,
God.
and I'm like, you haven't even started.
You've not yet arrived.
You haven't even started, because you should plan for a minimum of 2 months. Okay, in 2 months, well, people should be able to at least sort the accommodation.
It's true.
Yeah, but some people don't get on a job in the first 6 months, to
Yes,
be honest. To be
it's
honest.
true.
So
It's
you
true.
need to have some savings. That's what we're saying here. You need to have some savings that you can leverage on when you get here, or when you go abroad, when you go anywhere, if it's US, if it's Canada, so that if that job is not coming immediately, the frustration doesn't set in.
Yeah.
Because when you
Like
plan,
have a plan A and plan B in case so that you can fall into one in case if one is not working. Yeah.
hmm, yeah, because I think one of the things that, reasons why people get so frustrated is because they feel, oh God, let me just move. Once I just move, this Operation Jackpot thing.
Yeah. That is the reigning thing in Nigeria now.
Oh my God, oh Lord, let me just, whatever it is, once I land, boom, like this, everything will bam, like,
We'll
it
click.
doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You end up getting so frustrated, you get so overwhelmed, because people here are struggling with their bills already.
Yeah.
They're struggling with their bills. So for them to now come and accommodate you or add your own bills, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. So you need to
Nobody
think
wants to
about that.
be to carry your burden for you. Nobody
No,
wants to
because
carry.
they have enough burden already, not because they are not being nice.
Yeah.
It's not because they are not being nice, but people have burden already. You can imagine all these bills, and it comes every month. You
Mm-hmm.
see, it comes every month. If you don't pay your rent, then you become homeless.
It's
You
true.
don't pay your electricity, then you see,
No electricity for you.
no electricity for you. How do you survive in this winter?
I
You
wonder.
don't pay your gas bill, then how do you cook? How do you take care of, other things that you need your
Yeah.
gas for?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you don't want to deal with TV license, then don't get a TV. That's quite simple. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, that's it. Because if you buy a television and you don't get the license, whether you're watching it or you're not watching it, whether you hid it in your room or anywhere, or maybe in your closet, or they'll still find out that you own a TV. So you can't run away from it. You
Mm,
can't.
it's
They'll
it's
just
it's
definitely drag you
yeah,
until you pay.
yeah, it can mess people up, you know.
Yeah,
It's better you stay away from it if you know you don't want
yeah.
to deal with it. Okay, at
It's
least I know people that don't have any TV, so no problems. And then what about the council tax? The council tax is there. People
yeah.
are like, why the hell should I pay council tax? Why wouldn't you pay council tax?
Yeah.
Why not? Hmm?
That is why it's good to have a purpose or a main reason why you're coming abroad. Because if you don't have a concrete reason, for instance, if you want to come to Nigeria, to UK, and you know that the purpose of you coming to UK is student, to become a student, yeah, plan towards the student route. If you're coming to leave, you plan towards it so that you won't kind of fall short or maybe feel frustrated and feel messed up along the line. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's why having a purpose is very important, especially for someone who wants to travel abroad.
Hmm. And talking about having a purpose there, I
Mm.
think you've really hit on a very vital point.
Yeah.
People need to know the reason why they want to move abroad. There are quite a number of people back home that are, in their home country that are doing very well with a very good job. They're living comfortably. But
Mm.
if you just want to come abroad because people are coming abroad, people are migrating, everyone is moving abroad, I want to move abroad. And then you leave your lucrative business or thriving job, you resign, you sell off your property, you sell off everything, and you
Come
just
abroad.
move without plans. It can really be very challenging,
Very,
very, very challenging. And that is why you see a lot of people with regrets.
yeah, suffering mentally, psychologically because of the decision they took,
Mm,
which they're not supposed to take.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
What would you say about childcare? People complained about childcare. Oh, back home, you have, family, you have friends, you have support network, people that can help you with your children. You can leave them with your parents. You can leave them with your friend, with your neighbor. You easily get someone at no cost. At
Yeah.
no cost, you can easily find somebody to help you babysit. You
Mm.
know, back home. But it doesn't work like that. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So you need to think about that. Imagine someone who is a single parent and you've got like 3 kids and you're moving abroad with them.
Hmm.
You need to really, really think, because how do you take care of those kids? You don't just leave children unguided here.
You need a child minder. You
Mm-hmm,
have to pay the child minder per hour.
mm-hmm,
Or maybe even if you put them in the nursery, you still need to pay for the nursery because in this country, every child is eligible to a good education. So if you don't put them in school when they're supposed to be in school, you will also face the law. So you see, these are the things you need to put into consideration, especially if you come in with children. You have to check, and also even if you going about looking for jobs, who will take care of the kids for you? Are you going to abandon them or leave them in the house alone? It's not right in this country. So there are some things you need to put into major consideration before bringing your child with you, and also taking care of them, and also you looking for a better job at the same time. So these are the things that one needs to consider.
I need to consider. You
If
know,
not, the country will just kind of take your kids from you,
and
and
that's
they'll
it.
be like, you're not taking good care of them, you're not providing their basic needs, so you don't deserve to have a child.
And they
And
take them away.
the child people, I've forgotten the right word for that
The
group of
welfare,
people. Yeah, the
social
welfare.
welfare,
Social welfare will just come and take your child for you, and that's it for life.
and
You won't see
that's
them
it.
again.
That's it. That's it. So you really, really need to plan that. If it's a family, like a couple, well,
Yeah.
that's still okay, because all you need to do is you now have to like run shifts,
Hmm.
between husband and wife,
Yeah.
so that at any point in time, at least there's somebody at home with the kids. So these are
Yeah.
things people need to plan. Okay.
Mhm.
I know of a lady who came in the UK. She came with it's just a child. She came with her child, but she really, really struggled so much with childcare. Eventually, she got a child minder. Was paying the child minder £8 per hour, and she's got a job that pays £10 per
Okay.
hour. So when she goes to work, the child minder is with the baby,
Yeah.
and then she's paying £8 per hour. She earns £10 per hour. At the end of the day, what she left with? £2. £2 per hour. So that
With the
means
£2,
80%
yeah,
of whatever she's earning goes into
has gone
childcare.
into the childcare, yeah?
So how is she supposed to pay her rent? How is she supposed to feed? How is she supposed to pay all those bills? Electricity, gas, telephone bills, internet,
Change the
water.
wardrobe and change the wardrobe in case of the weather.
Yeah, she was, you know, she couldn't cope. It became so frustrating she couldn't cope. So eventually, what did she do? She had to let the childminder go, and then she had to stay at home with the child without working. Unfortunately, she could not claim benefit.
Yeah,
She couldn't claim benefit because she was not, eligible for
yeah.
benefit. So she had to go back
Oh,
after all the stress, all the pressures, all the um, money put into it. She had to go back. She couldn't cope. So proper planning, these are things people need you really need to plan. You really need to plan. Otherwise, it can mess you up.
yeah, it's
Talking
true.
about feeding, what do you think about feeding here?
Well, the feeding, although right now there is an inflation rate in UK, so the prices of some items has gone up compared to before. So this is what we expect. Change is the only constant thing in life, you know. So in terms of these feeding aspect, if you don't make provision on how to buy certain things, you won't be able to buy it. Because especially some Nigerian people that came to UK newly, if they go to the mall and want to buy maybe let's say a bread, and the bread is £1 per, let's say one seeded for one portion, one loaf, they will be like, oh my God, am I going to buy £1 bread? They will just do the conversion rate in naira and be like, it's almost 1,000 naira. How can I buy bread for 1,000 naira? They're like, no, I'm not buying it. And they will end up not getting the adequate food they need for themselves.
Feeding is not cheap in the UK if you want to go, you know, if you just want to go buy your own native food.
Yeah,
Because
you're local.
these things are imported. So definitely
Yeah.
they are expensive. They are available.
Mm-hmm.
You will find it. If you want your local food, you will find it. There's
Yeah.
nothing you want. There's nothing, absolutely nothing you want that you will not get here. But because they are imported, they are very expensive.
Yeah.
So if you want to be feeding solely on your own local content,
Be ready for that.
it won't come cheap.
Yeah.
But feeding can also be cheap if you
Yeah.
also learn to adapt and also eat some of the varieties that are here, like vegetables. They have
Vegetable.
a lot of salad. They have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of salad. And then there are a lot of pastries. It's just that, well, I don't think that's healthy,
Yeah.
but they are so cheap. There are quite a lot of cheap food here, which is their own native food abroad. So you
Mm.
can try to adapt and just, a little bit here, a little bit there. You know, you don't have to spend all your money on your local food.
That's
And then,
correct.
yeah, and then if you cook, that would also it will save you some money. So these are
Mm.
things you really need to take because I've seen, I remember there was someone that arrived, okay? That was, I think, yeah, that was in November. Oh, she
Mm.
came in, so a friend, received received her. And when she came, she was offered food and she went, What? What is this? Fish and chips. The friend said, Fish and chips. I said, What? Fish and
Oh.
chips? What am I doing with fish and chips? I'm starving. I want real food. I need real food. And the host was like, What do you mean real food? This is real food. This is fish and chips. And she was like, No. Don't you have soup? Can I get something like gari or maybe pounded yam? Do you have okra? Do you have banga? And the friend laughed and said, "Look, this is the UK. Welcome to the UK.
Yeah.
You can get banga, you can get all that.
Where's your
If you,
money?
is your money going? Is your money saying bye bye?
Mm.
You can cook them, yeah, but if you're going to eat out, it's your money waving, telling you well done, well done. I don't know how long you can keep up with that.
Yes.
So you need to be able to balance it. You need to be able to balance it because these are things you need to think. People don't plan. I did a video sometime last year about planning, plan your finance. It's
Mm.
very important. People need to plan. Okay.
Mhm.
So we've
Yeah.
talked about bills, we've talked about feeding, we've talked about childcare, we've talked about location, people being mindful of, where they want to settle because
Mm.
the standard of living, it varies. It's not the same. It's not the same. So you need to be mindful. Like if you love to live in London, well, good. In London, you can get a house, maybe a two bed for like 1,500 per
Yeah.
per month,
Yeah.
and then you can get the same
Or
type of
more.
or more.
Yeah.
You can get the same type of house at 600, 700, outside London.
Yes.
So it depends on you, but you need to be mindful of this. You need to be
Mm.
mindful of this. You need to be mindful of this. So let's look at how can new immigrants or people thinking of migrating abroad, how can they survive? Because more of the reason why people get frustrated, I want to go back home, I've had enough, I can't deal anymore. A lot of trending videos on this kind of issues, people that are not even up to 6 months, 1 year moving back home. What are those strategies? What are those things you think, new immigrants, can explore, or how can they find their feet abroad? How can they survive abroad? How can they be able to cope with bills and, be happy here? Because moving abroad takes a lot. It's a lot of investment, money, emotions, psychological, a lot of things, sacrifices. And then when you now get abroad and then, what do you think people can do?
First of all, I'll say in everything you do, you plan, or you should have a work-life balance. What I mean by that is, in as much as you get a job or you are working, you should be mindful of take some break, have a time for rest, so that you will be physically agile for the next day and fit. Because if you are not like, you know, doing this, like you may be doing all of them without no break, and at the same time you fall ill or you break down. How will you manage it? You know relatives to help you, it's just you become sick. But if you are just taking things as they come, like plan, like manage yourself, plan, have a timetable of things you do, like, for example, if you're working, maybe you're working 5 days a week, make sure you plan, you make sure that you do the 5 days a week, and on the 2 days that you're not working, you kind of have a rest and also do other things, the personal things you want to do, like shopping and all those things. Because if you don't have that in place, you won't be able to survive in UK. Is a tough country, and without all these things being put in place, you will not be able to kind of move forward. You become sad. Whenever someone sees you, you will not be your happy self again. You'll be worn out and you'll be like, I've been doing this. Why is it that I'm not even doing this, doing that, doing that? It's because you didn't plan yourself very well. So, one thing I would advise is plan yourself,
Okay.
take a break,
Take a break, plan yourself.
and also, have good food. good food, and also make time to laugh. Because if you're not feeling happy with what you're doing, you can't survive. So you have to do something that makes you happy.
Mhm.
That's my advice.
Thanks, Elizabeth. So we're looking at plan yourself, take a break, have good food. I know some people, oh God, it's not easy. That's the truth. Living abroad is not easy. But the good news is the longer you stay in there, the better it gets.
Yeah.
You begin to find your feet.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have to be honest, you need to pay, you will pay your dues at the beginning. And what I mean
Mm-hmm.
by that is it does not come easy.
Easy.
You see
Yeah.
people on two, three jobs back to back, back
Mm.
to back. They run a day shift here. From a day shift, they are off to a night shift. They finish a night shift, they are back to a day shift. I've seen somebody, run shift back to back for 72 hours.
Oh dear.
And at the end of it, she was like a walking corpse.
Oh dear. I can
So it's
imagine.
it's it's not easy. People hustle. Let me put it like that. People hustle here, and one of the main reason is because of bills. So it's not easy. So you really need to plan yourself, like Elizabeth suggested. But even given the circumstances, you also need to take a break,
Mm-hmm.
because if you want to chase the money the way some people do here, honestly, you break down, you fall ill, and the worst thing is that you don't even have people to look after you. You know why? Because nobody has the time. People are going about their businesses. They are not being wicked, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't. Nobody has the time to come and sit with you, or look after you, like things like that that you get back home. Here, nobody has the time unless you have a family. It's even worse if you are living alone.
Yeah.
It can be really very lonely.
Very, very.
Very lonely. So you need to look after your physical health. You need to look after your mental health. Living abroad
Yes.
can be very, very lonely.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't have time. They're not being wicked, but they don't have time. They're going about
Mm.
their businesses. They've got bills to pay. Can be very lonely. So you need to, and they're talking about food. You need to adapt. If you don't
Yeah.
eat well and the weather is not really so friendly, you could be ill. You could be
Yes.
very, very ill. Very, very
Mm.
ill. Very, very ill. It can be terrible. So you
Yeah.
need good food. You need good food to be able to function properly, to think properly, to withstand the weather, to even work. So
It's true.
I think another thing I want to suggest to add to what you have said is expand your network.
Yeah.
You
Very
know,
important.
you need to expand your network. So I've seen a lot of people when they come here, they just mingle with people from their home country.
Yeah.
You can't really enjoy living abroad like that. No. You need to expand your network. You need to relate with people from diverse cultural background.
Community.
You
Yeah.
need to adapt yourself to the community. When you move abroad, you're in a new environment.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to adapt to the environment, adapt to the people, adapt to the new way of doing things.
Yeah.
Behave like Romans when you're in Rome.
That's correct.
So
We're
you
missing
you you
Nigerian
can you cannot.
mentality.
No, it doesn't work like that. You can't bring Nigerian mentality to the UK.
Yeah.
No, you get frustrated. It doesn't work like that. So when you get to the UK, behave like the UKs. Mingle
Yeah.
with them, mix with them, learn their culture, integrate yourself. It's when you integrate yourself with the culture, with the people, with the way of doing things, with the way of life, with the food, even with the weather. That's when you start enjoying yourself. You start enjoying your stay. But if you don't integrate yourself and you just keep comparing with your home country, you only get sad, more and more sad, and you get frustrated. and you can't cook, because it doesn't work like that. You can't eat your cake and have it. You can't. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
What about patience? What do you think? I think I'm trying to also suggest that people need to be more patient, because these things takes time.
Time. Yeah. It
It's
doesn't
not.
work like boom.
Mm-mm,
Doesn't work
mm-mm.
like
It doesn't work like that. It's not rocket science. It
no.
takes time. It takes time. For some, as much as 6 months, 1 year, you start finding your feet.
One and a
But
half. Yeah.
1.5, 2 years, or you're more relaxed, you know. So it takes time. It takes time. It takes time. It takes time. And also, you need to remember, living abroad can be so, so lonely.
It is.
It can
That's
be.
why it is good to kind of identify yourself with your state group. For example, look for the community, like all these let's take for instance, if you're from Nigeria and you're from, let's say, you are from the north,
Mhm,
look for the northern community and identify yourself with all these community meetings. It do help mingle, network, and like she said, and also it can be of help. You never can tell the opportunity you will get from being associated with your community members. Yeah,
mhm,
because I can remember some years back when I first came to Hall, I joined the Nigerian community, the Igbo community, because I'm an Igbo lady. So I joined them and I was looking for a particular experience in HR. And I've been looking for where to kind of get the experience, even if it's a month at least. So I kind of spoke to one of the community member, my fellow people in the community I belong to. And she was like, oh, I have a daughter that works in so and so company. I'm going to speak to her. She's also a lawyer and they have a HR department. I'm like, really? She said, yes, don't worry, give me a number. This is how I networked with her. And she linked me up to her daughter. Lo and behold, the day I went for the interview, they asked me to send my CV, and I did. Once it didn't even take up to a week. They called me for an interview. Lo and behold, it was the daughter of the woman I spoke to in our community meeting and one other HR member of the company that interviewed me. This was how I got the 1 month internship. And I got the hands-on experience and it was paid. So all these things, what I'm saying now, this and citing all this example is that joining your community while in diaspora helps a lot. Yeah,
it
it
does.
does.
So then it work both ways. Join your
Yeah.
community, at least to solve the problem of being by yourself or loneliness, or you.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about integrating anyway. So you need to
Yeah.
integrate with not just your local community, the I mean, not just with the people from your home country,
No, 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 no.
with
Even
the
people outside
outside
different countries,
outside of your
you know,
circle.
mhm,
Mm,
make friends, connect with them, ask questions. Because one thing I noticed that kills most of the foreigners in this country is that they might be in need of something, but they don't know how to ask. They don't know who to ask. So they will just be like, let me die in silence with it. Well, it doesn't work that way. If you
mm,
don't speak out and tell people what's in your mind, nobody will know what you have in mind, you
mhm.
know. So it's
Nobody
good to
will
kind of
nobody
ask
will know
questions.
how to help you.
Yeah,
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, I think that's a good one. That's a good
yeah,
one. Yeah.
mm,
Expand your network,
yeah,
mm, and relate with people from diverse culture. I
yeah.
think I think we've really touched quite a lot that should be helpful with, to help people planning to move abroad make a good decision, informed decision, if it is good for you, because it's not for everybody. Forget
It's not.
about the fact that everyone is moving abroad, Operation Jackpot. It's not for everybody. Some people
Yeah,
would come here and survive here, make it real
and
good
make it.
here.
Yeah,
Others will stay in their home country and make it real good there. But they
Yeah.
can also come abroad. They don't have to live abroad. They can come on holiday.
Yes.
They can. I know people that come on holiday. You can get tourist visa. You can come on holiday, go back if you've got something good doing back home.
Yeah.
So you really, really want to think about it.
You can come back and come and spend your money on designer like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and all those designer things and take it back home while
And
going
take
back.
and take it back home. If you want to enjoy medical, bring your money, do your medical checks and all that.
Yeah.
Do your shopping, do your holiday, and go back home if you've got a good life at home.
Yes.
And all the family, oh, it's a sad story really. Um, the couple, okay, so the husband is a medical doctor,
Okay.
and he had a hospital back home, a thriving one. Okay. And then this thing about this person has moved, that one as everybody is moving abroad. He sold his hospital
Oh, Jesus.
cheaply. Cheap. He sold it so cheap. Sold a
Okay.
lot, sold the property, sold a lot of things just to move to the UK. They moved to the UK, and he couldn't get on a job as a doctor.
Oh, dear.
So he had to be working as a carer.
Oh, Jesus.
And it became so frustrating, and he gets so upset when people push him around or boss him around or just you know and he's like, oh my god, I'm a medical doctor, I had a hospital back home, I did this, I did that, I had this number of staff, I was controlling this, that. Can you imagine this one that's not he became so frustrated.
Mm.
And the point is, you can't there's no reason for comparison.
Yeah.
That's
I
that
can't change the hands of time again.
No, that was
You
who you
stayed as
were
you've done
back home.
before. Yeah.
Before, that was who you were. You made a decision, you made a choice.
Hmm.
Now, this is who you are now.
Yeah.
It's bitter, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
This is who you are now. So forget about all those, oh, I was a manager, I was this, that. No, when you come around, I've said it in previous videos that the UK has a way of, it will humble you. It will
It
humble
will.
you. It will humble you. So
Definitely.
think very well, plan very well, and everything will be okay. So, summarizing everything we have said so far, what we're trying to say in essence is the fact that in recent years, a lot of people have migrated abroad. Some for a
Yeah.
very good reason, some for
Mm.
reasons they don't even know. They are just moving because people are moving. So, we are trying to tell you, if you have decided to move abroad, ask yourself the question, why? Why do I want to move abroad?
And
If you
if
are,
I get to abroad, what will I be doing?
what will I be doing? If you are able to honestly answer yourself, then go ahead. But if you cannot provide answers as to why you want to move abroad and what you will be doing abroad, please
Stay
think
back.
about it again. Stay back, because it's not easy here. It's
It's
not
not
easy.
rosy.
And when you do decide to move abroad, plan, plan. Make sure you've got some savings you're coming with that will help you to survive for a
At
couple of
least 2
months,
months.
at least 2 months. Make sure you've got plans for accommodation. If it means you're staying, if you've got relatives or family or friends that will accommodate you before you get on your own accommodation, fine. Otherwise, think of a B&B, yeah,
Bed and
bed and
breakfast.
breakfast, that you could stay for like a week or two while you look for accommodation and sort out yourself. You need to think of all this. And think about feeding, because you need to feed well. You need
Yeah.
to look after your physical and mental health in the
Yeah.
UK. It's not easy. It's not
It's
easy
very
because a lot
important.
of all this stress makes people go fear, you know.
Yeah.
So you need to think about that. And finally, I'm going to say you need a lot of patience. People come
That's
here
true.
because they've got a lot of expectations and they think it's rocket science. Once I just land, boom, everything. I start blocking the money. Oh God.
From the
So,
tree, starting from the airport.
you know, and this, oh, I'll start sending it, I convert it, this, that. All those plans in the air. Do not build castle in the air. Don't let
Yeah,
anybody deceive you that
yeah.
it's easy. It
It's
is
not
not easy. It's very
either.
challenging.
Yeah.
So you will pay your price. Everybody does. You will,
Mm-hmm.
but you will be all right. If you're
Definitely.
patient, if you're tolerant, over the years, you will be very, very okay. So you need a lot of patience. If you know you are not a patient person, please just stay back. Don't come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Otherwise, you become complainer general, complaining about everything. Everything will be pissing you off. You complain
Yeah.
about food. You complain about weather. You complain
Complain
about
about the bus fares. Oh
All
dear.
right. Okay. So I think we've dropped one or two things that should really, really be, useful for people thinking of coming abroad. I don't know if you've got any other thing you want to say, Elizabeth.
Well, you've said it all, but what I have to add to that would just be like, as you're planning, I will equally ask you to kind of add prayers to it so
Mm,
that if this doesn't work, consult your God or consult whatever you believe in and ask for God's guidance as you
mm,
make those tough decisions because it's not really easy. It's not really easy at
mm.
all. She has said it all. Be patient, you know, not just have two plans. You can even do a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. In case if plan A and B doesn't work, maybe C and D might work. So that's what I'm kind of saying to what we've all said. So
Yeah.
thank you.
All right. I also think, Elizabeth, that people should be mindful of how they dispose all their properties.
Yeah,
Because when you come in here and it's not working, like I said
yeah,
earlier, moving abroad is not for everybody. When you come in
yes.
here and you've done everything you feel you could do and it's not working, you should be able
Mhm.
to go back home to something.
Yeah, not
So,
selling off everything you have, all in the name of Operation Jackpot, like Nigerians will call it.
and then you end up going back to nothing worse
Nothing.
than, it's not a good story. It's not a good story.
Yeah.
So we should be mindful of that. Finally, before we go, I also want to encourage people. A lot of people feel people living abroad are riding on high horse, um,
A
plucking
money machine.
money machines, plucking money from Buckingham Palace, picking it on the streets. You just walk the
From an
streets and
apple
you pluck
tree.
from an apple tree. You want the truth? The truth is, people living abroad go through a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. Hmm. They go through a lot because
Yeah.
those bills don't stop and they
Mhm.
need to keep up to, you know, make sure that those bills are paid. So
Yeah.
try to be understanding with people living abroad, limit the
Yeah.
pressures, limit the expectations. Sometimes, because of the expectations from home, you know, and then the pressures, some people get frustrated because people back home don't understand that you are still struggling to
It's
find your
true.
feet, and they just expect you to start sending the dollars, start sending the pounds, send me this, send me that, send me it takes time for people to settle in, for people to find their feet, for people. Someone might be earning. Your gross income might be, let's say, £3,000 a month, and then what you go home with might just be 2,000.
Yeah.
That's 1,000 gone for income tax, for pension. and for NI.
Yeah.
That is those are deductions at source. You have no control over it. Before your money gets to you, the NI is gone, the income tax is taken, the pension is taken. So imagine you've got a gross of 3,000, and then by the time those deductions, you end up with 2,000. Now you've got 2,000. Listen, out of that 2,000, you've got your rent to pay.
Bills.
You've got your electricity, you've got your gas, you've got your
Telephone.
TV license, you've got your telephone bill, you've
Your
got your
Wi-Fi. Internet.
Wi-Fi, you've got your council tax, you've got your road tax, you've got your vehicle insurance, you've got your parking bills. It's not like Nigeria that you can park anywhere. Here, before you buy a car, you need to think twice because it comes with a lot of obligations. When you park, you
Yeah.
pay. Park and pay. It's not free. So that is it. I'm sure from everything we've said so far, if you're thinking of coming abroad, you should be able to make an informed decision. And if you're already here, if you're already abroad, whether you're in the UK, you're in Canada, the US, Australia, wherever you are, be patient, okay? Be patient, be tolerant, keep
Yeah.
pushing.
People.
It's not rocket science. It doesn't
One
just
day it
happen,
will
boom.
click. Yeah.
No, you need to be
One day it will
patient.
surely click.
Because that's the only way you can, reduce the frustration, and try to expand your network, relate with people, mingle with people, adapt, integrate with
Don't
people.
discriminate. Don't
No,
discriminate.
before long you start enjoying it, okay? We all
Yeah.
pass through it, and I tell you, it's been good.
Not easy.
It's been good, yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you. That is it all
Thank
from me,
you.
Dr. Abby. Thank you.
And from me to Dr. Elizabeth, I say thank you very much for listening to us. I hope it's useful and you have learned one or two from this video. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.